So I'm making sure it's ready to go. So today we're going to be making penny spinners, and I'm going to talk to you about that. So just give me your attention for just a minute. This is a penny spinner. I'll hold it closer to the camera. And you can see there's a penny in it. And it's not made of complete paper. It's a little bit harder than paper. You can see that because paper would just wave in the wind. This doesn't. It stays firm. So the word's firm. So this is a penny spinner. Any idea when these were first invented? About how many years ago? Anybody have an idea? What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Sade? Oh, I heard 1,000, but it's more than 1,000. Daniel, what do you think? More than 100. It's more than 1,000, so it's more than 100. Is it Sade?
Is it 1 million?
No, it's less than 1 million. Ryan?
2,000.
A little bit more. Sade? Sadie? Sadie, what are you saying? Sadie? Look at this. 6,000. Okay, so let's mute ourselves, my friends. Mute yourself. I think somebody's got some lovely things happening in the background. So the first penny spinner was about 6,000 years ago. They didn't actually use a penny. They would have used a rock in the center. And actually, they were made out of wood or stone. And they were found actually in King Tut's tomb. So if you ever read about that, you'll have a little connection for that. So what we're making is a penny spinner. So hopefully you've got a sheet of paper, and or you could have printed out the template. Either way is fine. I need you, yes, Benjamin, hold your paper up to the camera. Benjamin printed out the template. That's great. If you didn't, it's also very fine. Take your sheet of paper. I see Sadie has it as well. You're going to trace, if you don't have the template, so you're going to trace so that you have just a plain circle. So let me show you what you're going to do with that, and then we're going to have a work session, okay? So here's some examples of what I did on my plain white paper. And as you can see, I did a variety of things. Some pretty simple, like this one reminds me of Christmas lights. This one's just wavy. I've got triangles. I've got one that looks like Easter eggs. Oh, this one was simple. It started out as a square, and I just kept making squares around it. And then a zigzag. So you can make any pattern that you want. So everybody freeze. I see some diligent workers. Everybody, let me look. Who's frozen? Zaneria's frozen. Jalen's frozen. Alani's frozen. Okay, cool. Ready? So you're going to be making, you're going to choose a creative pattern. You'll cut it out of the paper. Once you cut it out of the paper, you then are going to need to put something on the back so that it's not so flimsy. So if you don't have thin cardboard or a file folder, that's what I cut these out of, file folders, you could do something like this. This is a pasta box or a cereal box. You can see where I laid my pattern and I traced it, and then I cut out a circle so that after I finish my design, I'm going to glue it onto the back so that it makes a harder piece. So we're going to take about 10 minutes and take care of doing that. So unfreeze and start working on your creative design and getting your second circle cut out for your backboard, okay? And you can, if you have any questions, just let me know. I want to see what you're doing, so I might call on you to show it in the screen what you're doing. This is my favorite one so far. Oh, Alani, I knew you would like that one. It's just, I just started drawing squiggle green lines and then leaves. Sadie, is that Sadie that has a question? Unmute yourself, babe. Tajay. I think it's freezing and I can't hear you. So I'm looking. Ava, you got it? Okay. Benjamin, you're making your design. You're coloring it in. You're illustrating it. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I said go, babe. Go ahead and start. So remember, we're going to take just a few minutes and get our color on. The more colorful your design is, the more unique it'll be when you spin it. Yeah, kind of hold up your work as you're working so I can see it. Is that Soraya? Can I see your work? What are you doing?
I just came on.
Okay.
My dad was in a meeting.
Honey, that's okay.
So are we supposed to help it?
Yeah, the more bright colors you have, the better it looks when it spins. Dylan, are you asking me a question? Okay. So I'm going to tilt my camera so you can see what happens when it spins. It looks very different when it spins. My colors are actually orange and blue, but one of my students this year, he made one orange and blue, and we realized when he spun it, it was pink. Is that Ada? Adea? I think Ada. I see you're already cutting out your cereal box for your background. That's good. Or your backboard. That's good. And guys, when it's time to glue on your backboard, you're just going to make sure you get good glue everywhere on the edges.
I'll be right back. We're not coloring yet. And you do it.
So let me just show you something that happened for mine. You can see I put a backboard on it, but it's not really great. There's some pieces that it's where it's not even. And so all I'm going to do there, I'm just going to use my scissors to trim it up so that it's even. And so when I trim it up, it's all even now. I want to make sure I have my glue all the way to the edges. I love how diligently everyone is working. Oh, I like it. I like it. I see what you're doing. That reminds me of this one. Yeah, yeah. I do. It looks almost like a spider web or an eyeball. Anybody else want to hold up their design so I can see what they're doing? Okay. That's great. Oh, I like it. It's almost like tie-dye, Ava. Here's my Easter egg. For some reason, that reminds me of Easter eggs.
Like Easter?
Yes.
My glue is gone. The circle. I got the circle.
Okay, so did you make your, Adea, did you make your design one?
No. Make it on this?
Yes, make your design. It needs to be, it needs to be the same size. Okay? So boys and girls, I want you to pause one more time. Is that Soraya?
Adea.
I see Adea. Do you have a question? Is that Soraya that has a question?
Yes.
What's your question, sweetie?
What size is it supposed to be?
It needs to be about 3 inches in diameter. That's perfect. That looks perfect. Remember, your finger's about 2.5 inches long. So if it's 3 inches in diameter, it needs to be just a little bit more wide than your finger. A little bit wider than your finger. I think I said more wide.
So is this fine? Is this okay?
So I'm going to have everybody pause for a second because I want to show you the next part. Because some of you are ready for it. Some of you aren't, and that's okay. But we're at that 10-minute work mark, and I want to show you the next step. So after you have the back glued on, so you want to let it dry just a little bit, just for a couple minutes, let it dry maybe. Then I want to find my center, and I want to make a small cut. This is important, boys and girls. I hope you can hear me really well. Your cut needs to be smaller than your penny. I want to slide my penny in, and it needs to be smaller than the width of my penny. You can use scissors. If you have an adult with you and you have a knife, that may work too. So I want you to be very careful and make sure you have permission if you're using anything other than safe scissors. So I'm going to show you cutting my So I made a cut that's about 3 centimeters long. You can probably see it